In the year 2279, Earth was no longer a fractured world of nations. After centuries of conflict, climate disasters, and two devastating world wars, humanity finally united under a single planetary government. It was unity born not from peace, but from necessity. The cost had been high, but the reward was strength, technological strength, military power, and a shared sense of survival. From the depths of the oceans to the edges of the solar system, humans had rebuilt and expanded. They had colonies on the Moon, Mars, Europa, and Titan, and floating silently above Saturn's largest moon was the pride of Earth's fleet, the UES Resolute. A massive warship bristling with weapons, sensors, and armor thicker than the hulls of ancient fortresses. Commander Alex Voss stood on the bridge of the Resolute, hands behind his back, eyes fixed on the dark canvas of space. He was 37 years old, a battle-hardened strategist with a calm voice and steel in his eyes. Every crew member respected him, not because he was loud, but because he never panicked, even when the situation was on fire. "Commander," said Lieutenant Harris from the sensor station, breaking the silence, "we're detecting multiple FDL signatures at the edge of the solar system." Voss turned. "How many?" 13 large ships, all alien design. Nothing matches their structure or drive signatures in our database. Voss didn't flinch. He looked out the window again, though there was nothing to see yet. "Just stars. Put the fleet on yellow alert," he ordered calmly. "Bring weapons online, but keep them cold. No sudden moves." The crew moved with quiet precision. No panic. They had trained for this day, the day someone from beyond the stars would come knocking. 10 minutes later, Earth received a transmission. The signal was clean, translated quickly by Earth's quantum AI. "We are the enlightened from the Andromeda Galaxy. We come in peace to share knowledge and unite civilizations. We wish to meet your leaders and offer you our guidance." "Guidance?" Voss raised an eyebrow. "Play it again," he said. They did. Same message. Same calm, confident tone. The aliens weren't threatening, but they weren't asking either. It felt like someone offering help to a lost child. A child that hadn't asked for it. Earth's leaders, speaking from the United Command Center in Nairobi, responded with diplomatic care. The aliens were invited to a secure orbit near Titan, where they could meet a representative of Earth's defense fleet. That representative would be Commander Alex Voss. Within hours, the alien ships arrived in Saturn's orbit. They were long and elegant, glowing with pale blue light. The smallest was half the size of the Resolute, the largest nearly double. They moved with eerie silence, formation perfect, no visible weapons. Aboard the Resolute, Voss watched as one ship moved closer, a diplomatic vessel, according to its signal. It requested docking clearance. "Clear them for docking Bay 3, Voss said. "Full security protocol. Have a Marines on standby, but keep weapons holstered." He turned to his communications officer. "Send a message to Earth Command. The guests have arrived." As the alien ship docked, a soft hum filled the air. Lights flickered for a second, and the hull creaked, not from damage, but from the pressure of something foreign touching human steel for the first time. Aboard the ship, the crew stood at attention. Security officers lined the corridor leading to the diplomatic chamber. Voss stood at the end, waiting. The alien envoy stepped through the airlock. Tall, thin, with silver blue skin and a robe that shimmered like starlight. He had no weapons, no armor, just confidence. "I am Ambassador Zelvor," the alien said in smooth, accented English. "It is an honor to meet your kind." Voss extended his hand. "Commander Alex Voss, Earth Defense Fleet. Welcome aboard the Resolute." Their hands didn't shake. Zelvor simply nodded. The two walked down the corridor in silence. Neither spoke, but both measured each other carefully. One had come expecting awe. The other was preparing for anything. And as the door to the diplomatic chamber closed behind them, the crew of the Resolute watched with quiet anticipation. Humanity had waited for centuries to meet beings from another star. No one expected to be underestimated. Commander Alex Voss sat at the head of the diplomatic chamber aboard the UES Resolute. The room was quiet, filled only with the soft hum of the ship's systems and the low buzz of energy shields layered into the walls. Everything had been designed to be calm, secure, and carefully neutral. It was not made to impress. It was made to protect. Opposite him sat Ambassador Zelvor, the alien envoy. His skin shimmered like liquid metal under the lights, and his long fingers moved slowly, gracefully. His eyes were dark, unreadable, but not hostile. He carried himself with dignity, like someone who believed he was always the most important person in any room. Between them, on the wide metal table, lay two tablets, one human, one alien. Both devices were open, displaying data about culture, language, and technological accomplishments. A polite exchange of knowledge. "I have reviewed the basics of your history," Zelvor said, his voice soft but confident. "You are a species of great struggle. War after war. Disaster followed by invention. Pain followed by progress." Voss nodded once. "That's accurate." "And yet," the alien continued, "you have come far. You've reached your neighboring worlds, built machines of strength. I respect this spirit. Still, you are young. There is much we can help you learn." Voss leaned back in his chair, calm. "We appreciate your visit, but we're not asking for help." Zelvor smiled, just barely. "We offer guidance, not domination. We've seen hundreds of species rise and fall. Many crumble because they do not accept help when it is given freely." Voss paused for a moment, studying the alien. Then he tapped a button on his side of the table. A hologram rose between them, an image of Earth's defense fleet. Hundreds of ships, orbital platforms, and automated systems guarding every planet and station. "This is Earth's solar defense network," Voss said. "You came expecting children. What you found are survivors, engineers, warriors, explorers. We're not perfect, but we're not helpless." Zelvor's eyes narrowed slightly. "We do not threaten. Our gifts are peaceful." "Gifts often come with strings," Voss replied. "We've learned that the hard way." There was silence. Behind the walls, guards watched through hidden cameras. Earth Command was listening to every word. The entire conversation was being translated and broadcast to High Command in real time. But Voss wasn't posturing for an audience. He was protecting his people. Zelvor changed the subject, perhaps sensing the growing tension. "I brought samples of our technology," he said. "A healing pod capable of repairing tissue in seconds. An energy cell that powers a city for 10 years. A data crystal that holds the history of 3 galaxies." Voss nodded politely. "We're curious about your science. We'll study it. In return, we'll share a few things of our own." He gestured, and the human side of the table shifted. Holograms of Earth technology appeared. A quantum encryption engine, a railgun prototype, a new AI-controlled mining drone. Zelvor studied the images carefully. When his eyes reached the railgun specs, he paused longer than usual. "This weapon," he said slowly, "is not only powerful, it's brutal." "It works," Voss said. "That's what matters." Another pause. The ambassador's posture shifted slightly, just enough to notice. For the first time, his confidence wavered. Not fear, not yet, but surprise. "You've advanced further than we assumed," he said at last. Voss offered a neutral smile. "We've had to." The two sat in silence for a few seconds longer. Outside the chamber, the crew moved with quiet discipline. Alien sensors scanned the ship. Human sensors scanned them right back. No one moved without reason. "I look forward to continued dialogue," Zelvor said as he stood. "This is a moment of possibility." "Yes," Voss replied. "Possibility." They left the chamber side by side, silent once more. The meeting had not ended an argument, but it had not gone as the aliens planned. They had arrived expecting a simple encounter, a chance to impress a young civilization. Instead, they had walked into a room with someone who did not fear them, someone who had already seen too much to be awed. And as the alien ship disconnected from the Resolute and returned to its fleet, Commander Voss stood at the viewport, arms crossed, eyes locked on the stars. "They came to teach us," he said quietly, "but they're the ones learning." 3 days had passed since the first meeting between Commander Alex Voss and Ambassador Zelvor. The alien fleet, known as the Enlightened, remained in high orbit around Titan. 13 ships held their formation with mechanical precision. They didn't drift. They didn't shift. They simply hovered, silent and patient, like statues in space. Inside the UES Resolute, Commander Voss watched them on the main display. Each alien vessel had been scanned, analyzed, and cataloged. Their power sources were different, clean, efficient, but strange. Their weapons remained hidden, but Earth's sensors had picked up faint energy patterns along their hulls. Stealth weaponry, most likely. The aliens were not defenseless. Far from it. On the bridge, Lieutenant Harris broke the silence. "Commander, we got an alert from Defense Station Echo 9, orbiting Europa. Unauthorized scan detected. Origin, one of the alien ships." Voss turned his eyes from the screen. Details. Focused energy pulse, narrow beam. Not a weapon, more like a deep scan. They were trying to probe the weapon platforms on Echo 9. "We disabled the pulse before they completed the scan." Voss said nothing at first. His face didn't change, but his shoulders grew still, locked in thought. He knew what this meant. They were testing boundaries. "Response?" he asked. "None yet. The moment we blocked the scan, their ship powered down the signal and returned to standby." Voss walked toward the comms console. "Open a direct line to Echo 9. I want visual confirmation and full system logs." A few minutes later, the feed came in, grainy but clear. It showed a narrow blue beam from one of the alien ships, reaching out like a finger toward the station. Then, a sharp burst of energy from Earth's defense grid, a defensive pulse. No explosions, no damage, but the alien scan was shut down in an instant. "They want to see how far we'd let them go," Voss said, more to himself than to anyone else. "Should we escalate?" Harris asked. "No," Voss said, "but they need to understand something." He turned to his tactical officer. "Bring our orbital defense platform online. Just one. Position it directly between Resolute and their flagship. Make sure it's visible." "Yes, sir." Moments later, a large metal structure rose from Titan's surface and locked into position. It was a railgun battery, long and sharp like a spear. It hummed quietly, glowing with restrained power. Its targeting systems were cold, but the message was clear: "We are watching." That evening, a message arrived from the alien fleet. Ambassador Zelvor requested another meeting. In the same chamber as before, the two commanders sat once more. "You disabled our scan," Zelvor said without preamble. Voss nodded. "You scanned a restricted zone without permission. We were curious. It was not hostile. Uninvited access to a military installation is never innocent. Not where we come from." Zelvor tilted his head. "Your reaction was precise." "It was measured," Voss replied. "But don't mistake restraint for weakness. We've dealt with empires before, some human, some not. We know the signs of quiet invasion. I assure you, Commander, we are not here to invade." Voss leaned forward slightly. "Then stop acting like it." Zelvor's face remained calm, but his fingers twitched. It was a small gesture, but enough for Voss to notice. The ambassador was used to control. He didn't like being spoken to without fear. "We come from a galaxy where most species welcome our arrival," the alien said. "They are grateful for our help. They ask for guidance." "Then you've never met humans before," Voss said. "We don't ask. We build. We fall. We rise again. But we do it ourselves." There was another pause. Then Zelvor changed the subject. "We detected your defense platform. A railgun, correct?" "Yes," Voss answered. "It is powerful." "Yes," Voss repeated. Zelvor's eyes met his. For a moment, the air felt heavier. The meeting ended shortly after. No threats were exchanged, but the tone had shifted. The politeness was still there, but it had cracks. The aliens now understood that Earth was not easily impressed, not easily pushed. Back on the bridge, Voss watched the alien ships again. Still silent, still watching. "They're calculating," he said quietly to Harris. "Trying to decide if we're worth the trouble. Do you think they'll make a move?" Voss took a deep breath. "Not yet, but they're thinking about it." As he stood alone, looking out at the stars, Voss knew the truth. The real battle had already begun, not with weapons, but with choices, with lines drawn in silence, with respect won not through peace, but through strength. And he was ready for whatever came next. The silence didn't last. 2 days after the scan incident, Earth's intelligence systems picked up something alarming. Hidden within standard communication traffic between the alien ships was a tightly encrypted burst. It wasn't meant for humans to see, but Earth's listening systems were good, better than the aliens had assumed. The message was short but dangerous. Begin contingency discussion. Strategic occupation of outer planetary defenses if humans reject guidance. Target zone, Europa, Mars, Lunar Belt. Commander Alex Voss received the decrypted file directly. No filters, no hesitation. Earth Command had flagged it as top priority. He sat in the command center aboard the Resolute, the message glowing on the screen before him. Around him, the room was still, everyone waiting for his reaction. Voss didn't raise his voice. He didn't slam the table or call for weapons. Instead, he turned to his comms officer. Request immediate audience with Ambassador Zelvor. No delay. Full council. They will hear from us now. 15 minutes later, the main diplomatic chamber was active again. This time, it wasn't just Voss and Zelvor. Two additional alien figures entered, tall, cloaked in light armor, their posture rigid. They stood behind the ambassador like shadows. A subtle shift in tone. On the human side, Voss brought two Earth Fleet captains and a diplomatic advisor. The air in the room was tight, formal, controlled. Zelvor sat across from Voss, his comm mask firmly in place. You called for us urgently, he said. What has changed? Voss activated the holo display. The alien message appeared between them, translated and verified. We intercepted this transmission from your fleet, Voss said. You were discussing taking control of our defense zones. That is not peaceful contact. That is the language of invaders. Zelvor's eyes narrowed. The two armored aliens behind him tensed. This is a misunderstanding, Zelvor replied. It was only a precaution, a theoretical exchange. Standard planning protocol. Planning an occupation of Mars and Europa is not theoretical, Voss said. It's an act of hostility. Zelvor didn't answer immediately. He glanced at his aides, then back to Voss. You are a strong species, the ambassador said, but you are still untested in galactic affairs. We must be certain you are not a danger to yourselves or to others. Voss leaned forward slightly, his voice calm but firm. You're not here to protect us. You're here to control us. No one spoke for a full 10 seconds. The air felt like ice. Then Voss continued. We've shared our data. You've seen our strength. We've treated you with respect. And now you speak of occupation. Let me be clear, Ambassador. If even one of your ships moves toward a human colony, you will not receive another warning. You'll get a response. Zelvor's voice hardened. You would challenge a fleet from another galaxy? Voss met his gaze without blinking. We fought worse than you. We fought ourselves and survived. We don't fear your fleet, but you should think carefully about fearing ours. For the first time, Zelvor didn't have a response. His expression flickered, just briefly, from pride to caution. He looked at the railgun footage again. He looked at Voss, and he knew humanity was not bluffing. The meeting ended without a handshake. Back on the bridge, Voss sent an encrypted report to Earth Command. Subject, alien intentions confirmed. Summary, diplomatic cover remains. Hostile contingency discussed. All outer defenses on full alert. Recommendation, hold position. Prepare for active standoff. Later that evening, Voss stood alone in his quarters, staring at the stars outside his window. He saw nothing, just the quiet black of space. But he could feel it. A weight. A presence. He opened his personal log and spoke quietly. If this turns into war, it won't be because we fired first, but we will finish it. He closed the log and turned back toward the command deck. There would be no sleep tonight. The aliens had come to offer help. Now, they were preparing to take. And in that choice, they had drawn a line. Humanity had only one answer. The alien fleet stayed quiet, but the silence was no longer peaceful. It was heavy, like the stillness before a storm. Commander Alex Voss stood on the bridge of the UES Resolute, reviewing constant updates from across the solar system. Earth's colonies were on high alert. Mars Defense Command had activated all ground cannons. Europa's orbital shields were charging. Luna Base had scrambled its interceptor squadrons. Across every station, every ship, every human outpost, there was one clear message: be ready. But it wasn't humans who made the first move. A sensor alert blared. "Commander!" shouted Lieutenant Harris. "One of the alien cruisers just left formation. It's accelerating toward Jupiter's moon base. Vector path shows close approach to Outpost Helix on Ganymede." Voss's face stayed still, but his voice was sharp. "ETA, 16 minutes. No response to hails. Give me visuals." The screen lit up. The alien ship, sleek, glowing, silent, moved through space like a spear. It didn't charge weapons, but its course was clear. It was heading directly toward the defense perimeter of Ganymede, one of Earth's largest military research hubs. "Intentional provocation," Voss said. "They want to see how we react." Tactical Officer Grant looked at him. "Do we intercept?" Voss didn't answer right away. He looked at the screen again. Then he turned toward the comm station. "Deploy Spectre 1, Spectre 2, and Spectre 3, he said. "Full stealth mode. Position them behind the alien fleet. No lights, no signals. Tell them to hold position. Do not engage unless I say. Aye, Commander." Spectre ships were Earth's most advanced stealth warships. Silent, invisible to most sensors, and each armed with enough firepower to rip through a cruiser in seconds. Their existence was classified, even to many within Earth's own fleet. As the alien ship approached Ganymede, alarms began flashing across Earth's defense network. "They've entered restricted airspace," Harris reported. "Outpost Helix is locking targeting systems." "Tell them to hold fire," Voss said calmly. "Not yet." On the screen, the alien ship slowed just as it crossed into the defense zone. It hovered silent, watching. Its presence was loud without sound, like a sword held just inches from the throat. Then it powered down its engines and drifted in place. A message came through. This time, it was Zelvor himself. "Commander Voss, this was a demonstration of presence, not power. You must understand our need to observe, to be certain." Voss stared at the message. "No apology. No concern. Just a calm excuse wrapped in diplomacy." "Transmit reply," Voss said. "Text only. No voice." He typed the words himself, each letter deliberate. "Last warning. Any further action without permission will be treated as an act of war." Then he activated the final move. "Decloak the Spectres. All three. Make them visible, just for 10 seconds." The command was relayed. Across the void of space, 3 massive Earth ships shimmered into view behind the alien fleet. They had been there the whole time. Silent. Watching. Ready. Their weapons were already locked. For 10 seconds, the aliens saw what humanity had hidden. 3 warships within striking range of their flagship. 3 shadows that could have destroyed them before they even noticed. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, the Spectres cloaked again and vanished. The alien ships froze. No movement. No iscan. No response. Voss sat down in his chair. His voice was steady. "Now we see if they're really here to talk." 10 minutes later, the alien cruiser near Ganymede turned and retreated. Slowly, silently, it rejoined its fleet. Another message arrived, this one brief and heavy. "We acknowledge your strength. Await further discussion." The bridge of the Resolute was quiet. No cheers. No celebration. This wasn't a victory. Not yet. It was a warning received. "They thought we'd be amazed," Voss said, standing. "Now, they're the ones trying to figure out what we're hiding." He looked out at the stars, calm but alert. This is far from over. The alien fleet did not move again. For 48 hours, they held position in perfect silence. No scans, no signals, no sudden activity. Earth's defense network remained on high alert, but no further contact was made. It was as if the aliens were waiting, measuring their next step very carefully. Inside the UES Resolute, Commander Alex Voss maintained the same posture he always did. Calm, steady, and watchful. He didn't lower shields. He didn't dismiss security. He knew silence could be more dangerous than action. Then, finally, the message came. Ambassador Zelvor requests one final meeting. Aboard the Resolute. Noals. Nogaths. Voss read the transmission twice. It was unusual. The alien ambassador had always been surrounded by others, silent advisors, armored guards, technical observers. This request was different. It was personal. He responded with a single word: approved. The diplomatic chamber was prepared again. No audience. No cervalents. Just 2 chairs, 1 table, and 2 leaders from 2 civilizations who had come very close to war. Zelvor entered alone. He was dressed differently now. No shimmering robes, no glowing patterns. He wore a simple dark suit, plain and quiet. Even his posture had changed. Less pride, more thought. Voss stood as he entered, then gestured to the seat opposite him. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Zelvor spoke. You could have destroyed us. Voss didn't move. You came here assuming we were weak. That's always a mistake. The ambassador gave a slow nod. In our travels, we have found many young species. Eager, awed. Some are peaceful, some dangerous. But all have looked at us with wonder. And you thought we'd do the same. Zelvor met his eyes. Yes, we misjudged you. He leaned forward slightly, his voice quiet but clear. We thought your history of war would make you unstable. We believed your technology was years behind. We came to offer help, but we came from above, not beside. That was our first error. Voss said nothing. He let the words settle. The ambassador continued. We've reviewed your fleet data, your tactics, your decisions during this encounter. You showed restraint, patience, but also strength. He paused, then added, and when the moment came, you let us see the weapons that had always been there. You showed us the threat, but not the attack. That was the point, Voss said. We didn't want war, but we weren't afraid of it. Zelvor nodded again. Then allow me to say what I should have said the moment we arrived. He stood slowly. We respect your people. We respect your right to choose your own path. No more scans. No more talks of occupation. From this point forward, our contact will be as equals. He extended his hand, his true hand, not a hologram or a glove gesture, but an open, honest motion. Voss stood. He looked at the hand for a second, then shook it. The room was silent again, but this silence was different. Not tense, not cold, just quiet. Respect had replaced suspicion. Before leaving, Zelvor turned once more. When we first saw your warships, we expected to be amused. We are not amused now. We are impressed. And, if you are willing, perhaps in time, we can be allies. We'll see, Voss said. Trust takes more than one meeting. The alien bowed his head slightly and exited the chamber. This time, he didn't glide with superiority. He walked with thought. Voss watched him go. Then he turned toward the comm station. Send a message to Earth Command. Diplomatic status, reopened. Threat level, lowered. Recommend continued caution. The officer nodded and began transmitting. Later that evening, Voss stood at the main viewport, looking out over the alien fleet. They hadn't left, but their formation was looser now. Their weapons systems had been powered down, and one ship, the Ambassador's, was already preparing for departure. Captain Reyes stepped up beside him. You think they'll keep their word? She asked. They've seen what we're capable of, Voss replied. Sometimes that's what it takes. He paused, then added, they thought we'd be amazed. But in the end, they were the ones surprised. Reyes smiled faintly. So what now? Now we go back to watching the stars, Voss said, and making sure no one forgets what they saw here. The alien fleet began its slow withdrawal. One by one, the ships of the Enlightened turned away from Saturn's orbit and began their silent exit from the solar system. No war, no destruction, just a quiet retreat. Humanity had not fired a single shot, but the message had been heard loud and clear. Aboard the UES Resolute, Commander Alex Voss stood at the observation deck, watching the final ship vanish into the black. They're gone, Lieutenant Harris confirmed from the bridge. All vessels have left orbit. No hostile activity detected. Voss gave a slow nod. Keep sensors active. Watch the edge of the system, just in case. Yes, sir. The bridge settled into its usual calm rhythm. Monitors flickered with soft data feeds. Engineers checked systems. Communications officers reported updates from Earth, Mars, and the Moon. The tension that had gripped them all for days was finally lifting. But Voss wasn't relaxing. He left the bridge and walked the long corridor to the central command chamber. The lights overhead glowed steady. Crew members he passed stood straighter, saluting with quiet respect. Not because of formality, but because they knew what he had done. He had faced down a fleet from another galaxy and refused to bow. Inside the chamber, Voss opened a private log. No advisors, no officers, just him. Personal log, Commander Alex Voss, he began. Entry final, Mission Titan Watch. He looked out the wide viewport. Saturn's rings shimmered in the distance. The enlightened came to our system expecting awe. They offer guidance. They wanted control. But what they found were humans who had already been tested by war, by chaos, by ourselves. And we were ready. He paused. His voice stayed steady. We didn't seek war. We didn't posture. We didn't threaten first. We waited. We watched. And when the time came, we showed them what we are: survivors, builders, fighters. A species that earns respect, not through fear, but through resolve. He leaned forward, hands resting on the table. Zelvor said, "They came offering peace. Maybe now they'll understand what peace means to us. It isn't silence. It's safety, strength, choice." He tapped the console to end the recording, then added one final note. "We will remain ready. Always." He stood and walked out. Later that day, Earth Command sent its final report across the solar network. It confirmed the alien fleet's departure and acknowledged the success of the mission. No casualties, no destruction, just a peaceful resolution earned through strength and leadership. Across the solar system, people looked to the sky differently. On Mars, colonists stood on rooftops, watching the stars. On the moon, children pointed at the sky, asking what the ships looked like. On Earth, news feeds praised the calm resolve of the fleet and the quiet force behind its victory, Commander Alex Voss. Back aboard the Resolute, Voss stood once more at the bridge. The ship had turned toward Earth. The journey home had begun. Captain Reyes approached with a faint smile. "So, we didn't blow anything up," she said. Voss gave a short nod. "That's a win. What do you think happens next?" "We watch the skies," Voss said, "and we keep building." He looked out at the stars, quiet now, but never empty. "They'll come again," he said. "Others will follow. But now they know who we are." The stars blinked back, cold and distant. But humanity had spoken. With calm hands and silent strength, they had made the galaxy listen.